Words have power. Most of us have heard that before. Many of us have been told, watch what you say, because that is what you will manifest in your life. The following rhyme is something I remember from my childhood. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That statement is true and not true. Words cannot break my bones. However, research shows that verbal abuse can be as damaging as physical abuse. Words do hurt, often leaving invisible wounds, leaving invisible scar tissue that can last a lifetime. Words said by bullies, once confined to classrooms, playgrounds, and schoolyards and workplaces. Now people can be bullied online in their bedroom and basement. And the words we say to ourselves, the self-critical things we say to ourselves, messages from others that we internalize that seep into our psyche and cause us to bully ourselves. Words can also be healing. A kind word from a loved one or a stranger can make a rainy day feel full of sunshine. It can lift our mood and our attitude. Words have power. Words have vibration. We experience the vibration of words on at least two levels: the level of hearing and the level of feeling. Let's try an exercise. Think back to a time when you heard someone say something unkind or hurtful. While you are thinking about that experience, what do you notice happening in your body? Your breath, your neck, shoulders, stomach, your back, your posture. Are you sitting or standing tall? Or is your head down and your shoulders rolled forward? How do you feel now just thinking about the experience? Next, think back to a time when you heard someone say something kind or loving. While you are thinking about that experience, what do you notice happening in your body? Your breath, your neck, your shoulders, stomach, your back. How's your posture? Are you sitting and standing tall? Or is your head bowed? And are you looking down? How do you feel now just thinking about that experience? We are feeling beings. We are beings that from birth feel deeply. And the process of living, and depending on the culture that influences our living, feeling was subjugated to thinking, even though the seed of thought is triggered by a feeling. Our breath and our bodies are constantly communicating to us. When I was in South Africa training as a community development and education volunteer in the United States Peace Corps, this connection took on a whole new meaning for me. The first 3 months in a host country is a period for training wherein Peace Corps staff contract with content experts from government and non-government organizations to spend time with volunteers teaching us about the host country's culture, language, and other topics that will benefit us in our service to the community that we're assigned to. The security training was done by a security expert from the United States Embassy in South Africa. During the training, the instructor referenced the book, The Gift of Fear and Other Survival Signals That Protect Us from Violence. One of the questions the author would ask the clients who were victims of violence is, could you have seen this coming? Most often, they would say, no, it just came out of nowhere. However, the author continues, if I am quiet, if I wait a moment, here comes the information. The client, upon reflection, would state, I felt uneasy when I first met the guy. Or now that I think of it, I was suspicious when he approached me. Most of us have had the experience of feeling the hair on the back of our neck stand up, or the tight feeling in our stomach. We sense something is wrong without really knowing what is triggering the feeling. Some people call it intuition, others call it a primal instinct for survival. Before our minds comprehend an experience, our bodies are communicating with us. However, as Western culture developed and became the dominant way of seeing and being in the world, the intellect was favored over the body and feeling. Intellect was positioned to rule over all other processes involved with being human, resulting in most people learning to ignore signals from their bodies, ignoring the chest pain before a heart attack, talking ourselves out of the uneasy feeling when we are around a certain person, denying feeling fatigued until an illness confines us to bed. While our brains and bodies are sending us messages, so is our breath. Have you ever watched a baby sleeping? It is a tutorial on how to breathe naturally. We come into the world intuitively knowing how to breathe naturally, how to breathe into our belly so that it rises with each inhale and falls with each exhale. Let's do a breathing exercise. Close your eyes if you are comfortable and breathe as normal for the next minute. Breathe as you normally breathe. How is that to just breathe? Now, for the next 10 breaths, we are going to experiment with another breathing exercise. Place your left hand on your chest and your right hand on your belly. As you inhale, notice what happens with your hands. Does one hand rise? Which one? Do both hands rise? If so, in what order? As you exhale, what happens with your hands? Does one hand fall? Which one? Do both hands fall? If so, in what order? When we were born, our natural way of breathing was with the belly and chest. However, during the course of maturing, experience, role models, and what we learned from our culture, most of us stopped belly breathing and learned to chest breathe, exclusively to breathe just through the chest. The author of the book, Refining the Breath, The Art of the Awakened Breath, states, thus the breath has its own associated experiences and awareness, for better or for worse. Attentiveness to the breath and its relationship to our experience and emotions can reveal some of the following associations. I am just going to run through the following list of emotions and their relationship to breathing, and then go into more detail later. So don't worry about trying to write down what I'm about to say, because I'm going to run through this list and then I'm going to go into more detail. And before I go into the detail, I'll give you a heads up. So if you want to record what I'm going to say, I'll give you an opportunity to go ahead and do that. So the author goes on to say anger. Anger often comes with shallow inhalations, strong exhalations, and physical tension. Fear often comes with quick, shallow, and irregular breaths, and the feeling of a tight knot in the belly. Grief often comes with a kind of spasmodic, sobbing, superficial breath made up of quick, jerky inhalations and long sighing exhalations, and a feeling of emptiness in the belly. Depression often comes with shallow, lifeless inhalations and long sighing exhalations, and sensations of thickness, fatigue, and dullness to sensation. And patience often comes with short, uncoordinated breaths and a feeling of tension in the front of the chest, as if our heart wants to leap out ahead of us. Guilt or remorse often comes with a restricted, suffocating breath and a sensation of oppressive heaviness. Boredom often comes with shallow, lifeless breath and little sensation at all. Positive feelings such as love, compassion, kindness, and wonder often come with deep, comfortable, and energizing breathing and an open, affirming, and enthusiastic feeling throughout the body. In the days leading up to November 3rd, to the November 3rd election, and until we know the results of the election, many of us will most likely experience at least one of the above-mentioned emotions. I invite you to practice breath sensing from now up until we know the result of the election. Now I'm going to go into more detail relating breath to emotions. And I'm also going to offer some breathing exercises for you to do on your own. So if you want to record this, I recommend recording it instead of trying to write it out, but it's up to you. So if you want to record this, now is the time to start recording. Check in with yourself multiple times a day and note what is happening in the external world and what is happening in your inner world, and how both are impacting your body and your breath. If your inhalations are shallow, exhalations strong, and you feel tension in your body, that could be a signal that anger is present. Bring awareness to what is happening around and in you, and note what is triggering your anger. Bring awareness to your breath and focus on breathing mindfully. Place your left hand on your chest and your right hand on your belly, and focus on your belly and chest rising with each inhalation and falling with each exhalation. Do this for at least 10 breaths. Fear often comes with quick, shallow, and irregular breaths, and the feeling of a tight knot in the belly. Note what is triggering the fear response. Bring awareness to the breath. Inhale through the nose slowly for 4 seconds, and exhale through the nose slowly for 6 seconds. Do this for at least 6 breaths. So when you do the inhalation, try to inhale for the full 4 seconds, and try to exhale for the full 6 seconds. And do that for at least 10 breaths. For at least 6 breath cycles. Spasmodic, sobbing, superficial breath with quick, jerky inhalations and long sighing exhalations and a feeling of emptiness in the belly could be a sign of grief. Bring your awareness to your breath, mentally counting from 7 to 1 while breathing. So the exercise goes, you would say 7, and you could say it out loud or to yourself, mentally to yourself. 7, inhaling, stomach rising and expanding. 7, exhaling, stomach releasing and relaxing. 6, inhaling, stomach rising and expanding. 6, exhaling, stomach releasing and relaxing. 5, inhaling, stomach rising and expanding. 5, exhaling, stomach releasing and relaxing. Continue counting with your body's own natural rhythm. If you lose count, start over at 7. Depression often comes with shallow, lifeless inhalations and long sighing exhalations and sensation of thickness, fatigue, and dullness to sensation. Bring awareness to what is happening around you. Next, shift your attention from the outer world to the inner world and notice what thoughts are passing through your mind. Bring awareness to your breath and focus on breathing mindfully, mentally counting this time from 1 to 7 while breathing. So the exercise goes: 1, inhaling, stomach rising and expanding. 1, exhaling, stomach releasing and relaxing. 2, inhaling, stomach rising and expanding. 2, exhaling, stomach releasing and relaxing. 3, inhaling, stomach rising and expanding. 3, exhaling, stomach releasing and relaxing. Continue counting with your body's own natural breathing rhythm. If you lose count, start again at 1. Impatience often comes with short, uncoordinated breath and a feeling of tension in the front of the chest, as if our heart wants to leap out ahead of us. Bring awareness to your breath and focus on breathing mindfully. Place your left hand on your chest and your right hand on your belly, and focus on your belly and chest rising with each inhalation and falling with each exhalation. We are feeling beings. Listening to our breath and body can support us in healing, wellness, and being resilient as we engage life on life's terms. Not thinking or believing how things should or ought to be. Instead, acknowledging how things are in this moment and mindfully responding and engaging in each moment. Listening to the subtle messages our breath and body send us countless times a day. Mindful of how our external world can influence our internal world. Healing and learning to be well from the inside out. Building internal resilience to thrive in the outer world by listening to our breath and our body.